Hi, I'm Greg. I live at the Hotel Cecil. Today I'm going to tell you about the blood-covered zombie that knocked up my door at 4 in the morning. I was sound asleep when I heard a knock on my door at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was thinking, who would have any business with me at 4 o'clock in the morning? So I went over and peeked through the door, through the peephole, and there was a guy standing there, kind of looking up into space. Kind of swaying. He was knocking on my door. And so naturally, this being the Cecil, I didn't want to open it. But I did go and grab my camera and I took the footage. As I was filming, I noticed he had a lot of blood on him, on his shirt, on his neck, on his chest, his shoulders, his hand. It was all over him. The thing was, he didn't look like he was injured. I think it was someone else's blood. Maybe he was disoriented, maybe he was on, because all the floors look the same. I've had people knock on my door on accident thinking they were on a different floor because they're all identical. So maybe that was it. I didn't know what to say. What would you say? If he was in obvious distress or if he was hurt or something like that, then then I would have considered calling 911. But I really had no reason to open the door. He didn't appear to need assistance in any way. So, he looked like he was just in a fugue state, is what they call it, and just happened to be knocking on my door for some reason. I had no idea what he would want with me at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I just basically hid behind the door until he left. And then after he was gone, I went out to investigate, and that's when I saw the huge blood stain on the wall. And that just kind of started the whole investigation of what the hell happened here. First of all, to me, I've seen enough blood stains where to me it was unmistakably blood. And it was a lot of blood, so much so that it was dripping down the wall. How did this happen? Did someone need help or something like that? But it turned out when I examined it a little bit closer, it was contact. It was probably it was someone. There was hair in the blood, so it was probably someone with a scalp wound. And scalp wounds tend to bleed profusely, so it could be very bloody, but not particularly serious. And it took him a week to clean it out. That was kind of fun to come home and see that huge blood stain next to my door for a week or two after it happened. But then I posted it online, and people started questioning whether it was blood. So that's when I started looking into how do you test it. And one of the things I found out right away is that hydrogen peroxide will fizz on blood. It doesn't necessarily have to be human blood, but if it is mammalian blood, it will fizz. Hydrogen peroxide will fizz when you apply it, and it won't if it's something like ketchup or taco sauce or something else that looks like blood but isn't blood. So I took I went out there with the hydrogen peroxide and took a big swab, and it just bubbled like crazy. So there was absolutely no doubt that it was blood. And you know, so that was interesting. And then the only way to confirm that it would be human blood would either be have it tested and take it out to, you know, have it sent to a lab and tested, or you could spray it with luminol. That's what forensic technicians do, which binds to human blood and only human blood, and it fluoresces under a UV light if blood is present. And yeah, so that would be needed to confirm. But it's really amazing how much blood you find around here. I was walking out to the elevator the other day, and there was a huge spot of blood on the floor. Looked like someone had been like soaked in blood. Their pants were soaked in blood, and they'd been sitting there for a while, because you could see the impressions of the pants. And sometimes you see it on the walls. I swear in the elevator there's blood on the ceiling, but I need luminol to find out for sure. But it's just like that elevator scene out of The Shining, you know, like where the twins are and all the blood comes out of the elevator. It's like I'm living in that hotel. I'm normally from the Evel Knievel generation, which leans into danger rather than running from it. But this is the 21st century, and we have to be responsible. So I'm wearing a full complement of safety gear, including glasses and gloves. This is recommended, and it could be that they don't want my bodily fluids to contaminate the luminol, so maybe that's why they do it. But safety first. Ready for your colonoscopy now, Mr. Richard.
So I purchased some luminol on the internet. I assume it was from a trustworthy source. It came with all the stuff you need. I mixed it up according to the directions. Then I went outside and sprayed it on the big blood stain in the hallway, expecting it to light up like a Christmas tree like it does on CSI. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. It has to be very, very dark, and the lighting's way too bright in the hallway. So I tried to figure out some way to make the hallway dark enough to actually see the reaction. I looked around, I saw the lights, then there was probably no way I could make it dark enough to work there. So eventually I ended up constructing a little light box, although I guess in this case it's a dark box, just to enclose the stain enough where I could get the camera in there and see the faint luminescence that confirmed that it is actually human blood. I just have to take this opportunity to editorialize a little bit about luminol. If you were thinking about using it, I personally don't recommend it. It's not nearly as cool as what you see on TV, where the blood just lights up like a Christmas tree. It's a very faint reaction, and it's not very specific to human blood either. It just really homes in on the hemoglobin. So I heartily recommend that if you're trying to confirm it's a blood stain, that you use good old hydrogen peroxide, which produces a nice, visible, vigorous reaction, and will tell you that it is indeed blood, but not necessarily human blood.
So here's the part of the episode where we answer questions that people have left in the comments. Today we have a question that I get a lot from Timothy Walsh, who asks, how do you live at the Cecil? I thought it was a hotel. And yes, it was a hotel for many, many, many years. It was closed down as a commercial hotel that just you or I could stay at in 2017. It remained vacant, completely vacant, for a number of years while they were deciding what to do with it next. And then to make a long story short, it opened up as public housing in December of last year. So now it's designated permanent housing for low-income LA residents, and that is the basis on which I'm here. So it's just like any other apartment to me. I just live here. So now we have a question from Let's Talk Murder, who asks, is anyone allowed to live there? Well, yes. As of December of last year, low-income residents can apply for and live at the Hotel Cecil. It's no longer being operated as a public hotel. It's a private apartment complex, essentially. And they also say, are you going to continue to sell the water? It's like, yes, I'll continue to sell the water as long as people want it and as long as I live here. So I know I won't be living here forever, but as long as I live here, I will sell, and people want to buy it, I will sell the Cecil water. And the Richard Ramirez water too. Don't forget your Richard Ramirez water. So Jennifer Troiano asks, oh, I know Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. What are your favorite things to do or places to go in LA? And well, I hate it when people ask me for my favorite anything, but I think this one is going to be pretty easy. I love visiting cemeteries. I visited cemeteries all over the world. So generally when people come into town, I take them to my favorite cemeteries, the top of which would be Hollywood Forever, which is just, it's not just a place where stars are buried, it's a place where, a very diverse and creative community has they express themselves in a really unique way. It's just it's a really special place. So that would definitely be high on my list. The other passion of mine is I like visiting filming locations. Just any movie that you can think of, if that I'd like to go. I usually try and find out what someone's best favorite films are and take them to a place where that was, and then probably my third, it would just be the Santa Monica Pier, just the ocean. I just really love visiting the ocean. So that would probably be my the first three things that I would cover. Of course, the thing that's great about LA is I'm always discovering new things to do. It's like I've been here for more than 50 years and I'm still discovering new things. So my top three favorite things I probably don't even know about yet, and that's what's great about LA. Be sure not to miss our next episode. We'll be visiting Hollywood Forever Cemetery, one of my favorite places in LA, and it will probably be one of your favorite places too after I've showed it to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe because you're not going to get this shit anywhere else.